Alright, folks, welcome back. So the bad news is, I think playing Dead Space has made me physically ill. I don't know if maybe that's actually just, maybe I got the flu from somewhere else, but I feel like I probably got it from Dead Space. Today's drinks are hot tea with honey and ginger ale. And I apologize because if there was a lot of hacking cough before, Jesus Christ, there's going to be a truly heroic amount of it now. So hopefully the drinks will keep things under control here. Now that was the bad news. The good news is a friend of mine was able to provide me with a little bit of advice. Actually, grab it over here. He discovered, after a little bit of research, I complained about the disgusting aim issue to him, and he said that people apparently find that a frequent issue is vertical sync is what causes the problem. Now, as far as I'm aware, vertical sync has to do with making sure that the vertical resolution and horizontal resolution update and refresh at the same time so that you don't get tearing. So I don't understand what the hell that has to do with mouse acceleration, but I flipped vertical sync off, and holy shit, that's night and day. Suddenly I can aim again. Suddenly I got, I'm so fucking happy right now, I can't even begin to describe, because the biggest issue I have been having with Dead Space thus far, by far, has been the fact that I can't aim. But now I can make all of the fine little adjustments that I want. You see, there's none of the weird skipping, none of the nonsense that I've been experiencing before. So I'm super jazzed to get right back into this and play Dead Space in the manner I'm thinking it was meant to be played. Hey. So.
Hydroponics log, Dr.
I don't
Elizabeth
even care.
Cross
This is a
reporting.
dumb audio log.
I'm pleased to say that we're working close to maximum capacity at the present time.
Yeah.
All flora is healthy and thriving, and food yield has created a surplus. I was going to pass the surplus on to the colony, but the captain has given a no-fly order. I want to note my opposition to that order. Everyone knows they're in trouble down there, and I don't see what denying them our surplus will achieve.
So I guess actually we already heard that audio log just at the back end of the previous episode, I think. Might be wrong about that, but I apologize if you were forced to endure. Oh, still got on me. So anyway, this is all looking very good for Dead Space in terms of my overall evaluation of the game. That last chapter with the Invincible monster was the first time this game toyed with anything legitimately frightening, so that was fantastic. And then now that I can aim, the action bits will actually be entertaining in the way that they're meant to be. So that's got me super excited. So, maybe this will be a much more positive episode. We can always hope. I mean, none of this is going to make Dead Space frightening on the whole. And none of this is going to fix the fact that its story is sort of... I don't know, I think the story is a complete mess, but... But story being a pile of crap, par for the course for video games. And while I don't necessarily think that absolves a video game, in particular, I don't think it absolves a video game if the video game is still trying. Oh, that's a human. Probably gonna have to talk to him. So. Dude.
Isaac. Good to see you in one piece. Don't take your helmet off. The air's rotten. I gotta look at it. It's huge. You won't. Shut itself in food storage. Crew that was on this deck. I think they're what's poisoning the air. They've been transformed. I saw one of them. Bloated, swollen.
It'd be really great if you could
They're like poison factories.
spit this
We
out
need to take them
faster,
out while we can
because
still breathe.
for some reason the doors pick
Hammond!
up on the fact that you're talking.
I thought you were dead.
God
You
damn
need
it.
to get to cleaner air. You're not going to be able to help Isaac in your condition.
Hey, look
Isaac.
at that.
I'm scanning the area now.
I guess the videos do
He's
appear
right.
off
There's
to the
something
right.
really big in food storage. But I can't get a good scan.
You
Monitor readings
figured
are off
maybe
the
he was
scale.
lying about the
Be
big thing in
careful.
food storage. Like, I don't get the reasoning there. Oh look, that gun's even making noise on its reload sequence now. Alright.
That's the door to food storage. But I can't override the integrity lockdown. You have to destroy the pods to bring the air quality up. Then you can go through and use the poison on the Leviathan.
Let's visit the shops first, shall we? Yay, contact energy. Something else I'm not going to use. So the thought occurred that since I got the force gun, I no longer have any particular need for the Ripper. So I should probably just sell that for the credits. Like, in theory, that puts me in a bad spot ammo-wise. You want to have all 4 guns available just for the variety of ammunition, but I'm going to go ahead and say counterpoint. The 2 slots that I've been maintaining devoted to the Ripper blades, I can now devote to, split it up between plasma energy and force energy or something like that. So I think I'm going to sell the Ripper, because it's just not that good by comparison. Like, the only reason I had it was, what's the fucking, oh, enter. The only reason I had it was because I needed a short-range spasm, don't make me aim, I just want to kill things kind of gun, and now I have that in the form of the force thingamajig, so. Power nodes. So that should get the job done. Oh God. Gotta remember to keep drinking. Ideally, a person should always remember to, intake fluids anyway, just because, humans need fluids. But, me in particular, because I need the fluids to help fight the disease, and I need the fluids because if I don't keep drinking, that's when the sore throat really acts up. But anyway, you didn't come here to listen to me talk about my disease and health and stuff. Well, in all probability, you didn't come here at all. Nobody watches the friggin' show yet. But this is the.
I suppose I should be glad that Ham's alive, but I still don't trust him. I think he's hiding something about the marker.
Can you? Oh, hey! A jump scare that actually worked. That made me jump. I fired the gun unnecessarily. Look at that. My sickness must have helped me. My reflexes are shot. And apparently I can't fucking talk either. I can't utter a coherent sentence. Is there nothing of value in this room? Why do you even have this room? Are those things dangerous? Like, will it hurt me to get hit by a blast of whatever that is? Oh, cool, a bench. Just what I need, bro. Let's have a look. Yes, sir. Hey, why not? I'm gonna have the thing with me anyway. Might as well make sure that it's in working order. Ugh, I hate that. I'm gonna have to do it sooner or later, though. Because by the end of this game, you need all of that all the damn hit points. All of that hit points? I guess that works, actually. Like, the plurality is off, but that's kind of how the slang functions. Slang. Dat is intended for plurality. Do people prefer dat or dem when you're doing the plural? These are the questions I ask myself when the game is not being interesting. I like that the lights were monster sensitive there. Stop jiggling. Stop it. There. God. Crickets? Really? Okay. Or cicadas, I guess, maybe. Let me guess, is there one out this side too? Oh. Oh. Well, I really wish that effect would go away. Stop it. Stop jiggling. Stop it. Ugh, whatever. I can hear a murmuring or something. What is that? Oh, there it is. Oh! Oh, how'd you get so close? The answer to that question is I've got, to make sure I'm not shouting too loud and stuff like that, I keep one headphone slightly off, so I actually cannot hear things approaching me from the left anywhere near as clearly. Alright, tell you what, buddy. Just for you. Oh, get off. Just for you, this day only. We've got a special fuck right off. This gun. There we go. In Dead Space 2, I didn't have to upgrade it very much at all before it would, you'd fire it at any bad guy and it would shear all the limbs off in one hit. But I guess here I'm going to still have to aim it at least a little. Got any more? Because, like, I mean, I get that it's a horror game, so that's not exactly how you do things, but I'd really rather clear out all the enemies so that I could explore in comfort. That's literally the point, though, right? In an action game, in theory, you get all the enemies, you tear up all the enemies, and you're done. In a horror game, first of all, there are fewer enemies in total, precisely because they want you to have these sort of these tension moments. Because when the monsters show up, oddly enough, that's a release of tension. The major tension is apprehension of the monster's arrival. So right after you kill a monster, that's full release. That's when there's no tension. Monster just died.
Replacing nutrient vat.
I don't know what I'm actually supposed to be doing here. Okay. Oh. I wonder if there can be critters outside this door. What the hell? Oh, shit! Oh, they full on got me. Look at that! I'm legitimately impressed. That was straight up. I shrieked, I jumped, the works. Way to go, Dead Space. Not even Amnesia managed to get me on the jump scare like that. Yeah, I guess my nerves really are shot from the illness, because, you know, it's not like it's the first time I've been attacked in the game by something that was up in my body. But alright. Technically you get points for that, I guess. I don't... Like, okay, so the thing about jump scares is, as I mentioned before, I think, I don't think you actually get points for jump scares. Because I think jump scares are the easy approach. Sorry, I stopped talking there because I assumed there'd be an encounter, but look at this! Another example of horror game design. So, the way you keep people afraid is you keep them on their toes, and the way you keep them on their toes is by being unpredictable about the situation. Come on. So, for example, I thought I was in a contained room, and then a monster showed up right behind me. So it's my surprise that that the monster was in the room with me that resulted in me, you know, jumping and getting scared. So. The thing about the jump scare is, jump scares are a simple way to create sensitivity, because if something jumps out at a person, then they're worried about things jumping out at them, and that puts them on edge for the rest of the duration. But if you rely exclusively on jump scares, then they stop having that effect. Hang on, I gotta... There, take me to floor 2, please.
Warning. Toxics detected in atmosphere processing. A repair technician has been notified. I don't even care that that's an automated thing.
you should not have the announcement say a repair technician has been notified unless a fucking repair technician, like, pressed the button, whatever, like, alert message shows up on his console that says, hey, there's an issue. Unless he actually acknowledges it, you don't say that it's done.
Isaac, make us whole again.
Pass. See what I mean? Like, okay, so you step on the crew and break off their limbs so that those bat things won't be able to animate the crew. But, like, whether you're killing the animated crewman or the bat thing, like, what's the difference? Because is the bat things, are they left behind by that process? No, I think they merge to make a new enemy. So, like, what's the difference? Like, why am I in a hurry to stop those things? I guess probably, provided that the game designers here are not complete morons, it's easier to kill the winged things than it is to kill whatever thing they produce. So I'm just gonna assume that that's the case, because if that's not even the case, then, like, good God, what are you doing? What am I paying for, you know? Actually, you know what? I'll take that back, because if this were supposed to, it's supposed to be a horror game, but if this were an effective horror game, then actually you'd want to have enemies that did that sort of thing, just to be upsetting, rather than to actually present difficulty. Look at this! I can snipe! I'd appreciate it more if I could snipe before they came through like while they were still doing the emergent animation, but whatever. Horror game again. This is oddly enough, like, when I'm being really critical of this game, these are the kinds of things that bug me, are the compromise that this game makes between horror and action is weakening both. Because as an action game, it's actually really irritating that enemies pop up without warning, that, like, all of that stuff that is there for the sake of horror, that the horror baddies have to complete their I'm showing up on the scene animation because that's supposed to be creepy. That's actually incorrect. That's backward design.
Entering zero gravity.
Ideally, I shouldn't even look at enemies. Like, they should not be visible to me. Because being able to clearly see something makes it immediately less frightening. That's why most of the time horror games make really substantial use of darkness and things like that. Is just because, yeah, if you can see it clearly, then that limits the amount of work that the person's imagination is doing, because your subconscious is basically, you know, it's already a terrified monkey creature. It'll do that work. See, I get the orchestral sting, but oh, look at how much easier it is to kill these things now that I can aim. It's fun to kill stuff. There's another example of the inconsistency. If this is properly a horror game, then I should resent every appearance of the monsters, and I did up until now, because just now I procured the ability to actually fucking aim, which is significantly improving my experience. Come on, man, I just need you to change surfaces. Oh, I guess I didn't need you to change surfaces because I'm gonna have to do a crazy jump to get through here anyway. What was I saying? Before it was frustrating, though, so it's still not quite the same. What the hell? Don't I have a med pack? That's an air can. Okay. I am low on health. That's gonna be cause for concern also. Bam! Right there. No monsters appear this go around because monsters appeared the last go around, and they tried to make it so that I can. But the monsters did appear. Right? As many sort of double. Oh shit! I forgot the word. You know the word I'm looking for. I'm almost certain. So, think that I said that word. Oh man, it's really gonna bug me actually.
Exiting zero gravity.
Ah, God, it's really bugging me. Reverse psychology. As many instances of reverse psychology as you can possibly squeeze into the space to make the person second guess their predictions. So that, ideally, as a result, they're just sort of constantly on edge. So, Dead Space F's that up in a couple of cases because...
Hello, security? Thank God. This is Dr. Croft at Hydroponics. I'm trying to locate second engineer Jacob Temple.
I'm just going to talk over this lady.
Get through to engineering.
Because they do a lot of things like the musical stings to let you know that baddies are there. And this is, again,
no, we're safer now,
this is where I say I really get cheesed off about the compromise.
Hello?
Because in a horror game, ideally, it doesn't matter that they share that information. Right. Or sorry, other way around. In an action game, it doesn't matter that they report a monster is in area using music or any other function for that matter. Alright, I hope whatever thing I'm supposed to use stasis on is really evident. Oh, God. Why? I mean, I know why, but... Alright, what was I saying? Yeah, information like that, ordinarily good thing to have in an action game. The more you can communicate to the player about where enemies are and how to kill them and all that kind of stuff. All of that's great stuff in an action game. In a horror game, basically you want the opposite, right? You want to create fear and helplessness. So you want to do things like have enemies pop up out of nowhere, have enemies pop up way too close to you so you can't effectively respond to them, right? All of that kind of thing. Have creepy music play sometimes, completely independent of when the monsters are there, so that the player can't use that as a cue and is just afraid all the time instead. But the problem here, basically, is that the problem here is that those are perfectly at odds with each other. Everything that you do to make the horror part of this game work is interfering with the action part. So, for instance, it is fun to murder bad guys, to murder monsters. That's a great time. But all of those little elements, tense music that popping up way too close to me so I don't have a chance to effectively respond, like that example where I open the door. I have to barge in through this door because there's a jet about to light me on fire right behind me. I have no choice but to barrel through this door. Bam! Melee focused enemy right on the other side of that door. Fuck. I'm boned. There's nothing I can do about that situation. That's really frustrating. From an action standpoint, that's something I would complain about. Like, why did you do that to me, effectively?
Warning.
Sometimes you can get away with, that's supposed to be a test of skill. Here's a more challenging than usual situation, so deal with it. But, especially just sort of in the middle of nowhere, right? Kind of just as a random encounter. I don't particularly buy that. Oh god! Oh god! But yeah, right there. I said, eat shit, fat boy. That was something I said kind of instinctually, because it's like bloodlust. I enjoy murdering you. I shouldn't enjoy murdering them. I should be terrified of them constantly. I should be breathing a sigh of relief when they die, not celebrating a victory, right? When you compare that, I complained also about Amnesia's sort of, they have the monster noises going on constantly in the background, so I never knew if I needed to be hiding. But if
Replacing nutrient vat.
if you're paying attention, I think eventually I learned to recognize the musical cues and to learn what was a fake monster noise versus what was a real monster noise. So that was just a skill thing. But shit, I lost my thought. Oh, it was the more general case. So in Amnesia, whenever I successfully avoided an enemy and got it to despawn, I wasn't like, oh sweet, yeah, I sure, I don't know, what even would I be celebrating? I definitely tricked that guy. No. It was, I narrowly avoided death. Thank fuck. Whereas in this one, eat it is my more common response. Anything gonna come through those? Maybe once I get to the other side? Nope. So, yeah, in this game you can see the two design systems interacting. An action opponent should be clearly visible. They have in this game this concept that you're doing strategic dismemberment. I don't even think strategic dismemberment is compatible with horror game, because it places so much emphasis on the combat and on how you are going to kill these guys. You're planning the death of the monsters, right? You should just be overwhelmed and terrified whenever a monster shows up, not, carefully contemplating how you're going to handle the situation. Man, I never even used the weapons. Are we down to... Yeah, I have to invest a dead node no matter what I'm doing, so I'm going to invest it in the rig because I feel like I need more health. Like, how fucking weird is that? Just the concept that I'm going to get more health. The concept that there's this upgrade system that is making me more secure, more heavily protected from the monsters with every step I take. Like, what the hell is that? That's not making me more afraid. That's doing the exact opposite. That's bolstering my confidence. Like, what? You cannot have this both ways, Dead Space. Text log, yeah. Yeah, right. You know, there's another good example. Like, I get the feeling that this is supposed to be horrifying. Like, that's a person over there, my god. But, no it ain't. You know, like, I don't know. I guess that's not the right way to phrase the criticism. Like, yes, it's obvious that that's a person, or it was a person. But it's like, that's not upsetting to me. That's par for the course. That's nothing interesting. That's not even mildly disturbing. You know, if you can't just expect like a weird, vaguely creepy looking thing to be all that horrifying without the context for it, you know? Like, I don't know, I hate to trot Half-Life out as like the constant example of how to do things right, but you take a look at like the head crabs in Half-Life and the head crab zombies in Half-Life 2 in particular, and you can hear their screaming as they're coming towards you, right? But so much of it is your knowledge. That's why I got this gun. So that when they're like, haha, we put an enemy right up next to you, I can be like, yeah, okay. Eat shit. Anyway, you know so much of this process. You spend a bunch of time fighting the crabs on their own. They jump at your head, right? Oh, I don't have a power node. I just learned that at the bench. So of course I don't have a power node. But anyway. So that's a ball, so this is going to be the open part. Oh, this way. That's a smaller node, but I really don't like as elevators where it's not clear which face of the elevator is going to be open when you get to the new floor. And I don't know, maybe that's, again, a deliberate choice on their part to make things just a little teensy bit creepier, but I don't know if I'm willing to give them that much credit. So this is a pacing moment. Big creepy room. Obvious place for enemy encounters. Lots of pulsating.
Detected. Quarantine activated.
Oh, great. Huh. Okay. Normally when they do a quarantine activated, it's because they're... Oh, no. Come at me, bro. Oh yeah, power node. Like what the hell's that? Is that scary? Like, is that, you know, the big gigantic monster? Like, that's the opposite of a horror monster. It's a very gimmicky opponent with a very obvious weakness, so I'm not frightened of it in any way. That's an action game enemy. It's not even a very clever one at that. So what is it doing in this game? You know? Just wanted to check on my storage capacity situation. Anyway, what's it doing in this game? What's this action component doing in this game? Why do the enemies jump out and show themselves so aggressively? So I mean, part of that is action stuff. It's, as an example, the joints of the monsters have to be highly visible, so they need to be well illuminated. They need to be all of this stuff. Even in a dark room, the monsters almost have an aura to them that makes them fairly easy to pick out, because the game needs them to be that way for the sake of... What is that moaning? Oh, that's the gas thingies that I'm supposed to kill. The game needs them to be easily and readily killable. So it's defeating itself as a consequence. Because its dedication to get out of my way. Its dedication to ensuring that combat experience is cool and fun is ruining the horror. Because in particular, things like gangly arms and tentacles play fantastically with shadows. You can create strange lines and stuff like that. Even just something as simple as, if you've ever seen the video game Slender, the enemy model on that thing is pathetic, right? Everyone who's seen it always complains that the villain Slender Man, looks so stupid. But you're almost never looking at him, because the mechanic of the game is that you die from eye contact, basically. So what you're looking at instead are trees. And the branching of the trees look exactly like him. So you're constantly scaring yourself into thinking that you see him where you don't. That is horror monster design, right? It doesn't matter that his model looks like crap for a lot of the people playing that game, because they never see his model. They're never looking at it and examining it for long enough for that to matter. Probably. This guy's the last one, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a fight. No? Maybe after I get back down to the ground floor? Like, that's one thing they seem to be doing a lot, is they'll have the fight immediately in one case and just not immediately in the next case. And I mean, again, that's still kind of doing it. But if they really want to mess with my noodle, they should just not have a fight sometimes. Look at that. Maybe they aren't going to do it this time. This is better. This is better not just because I don't want to fight monsters, because again, part of the problem here is that I do. That the minimum tension moments in this game are when I'm slaughtering stuff. Which way? This way.
Replacing nutrient vat.
Oh, okay. This is where they'll do it. Yeah? Still no. Color me impressed.
Replacing nutrient vat.
I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. I'm just saying, go to the feeding system over and over again. Hang on. Do I have like a journal? How do I switch between leaves of this thing? Navigate with arrow keys. Nope. Ah! Here we go. Oh, okay. So I must be trying to say... Oh, I have to kill that one. Okay. Oh, I see. So I press this button, and that opens the
Replacing nutrient vat.
container.
Replacing nutrient vat.
There. That's what I'm supposed to do. Sorry, I guess sometimes you have to pay attention at least. And my journal also said it was only 7 out of 8, so I'm still going to stick to my prediction that as soon as I finish this crap, they'll make me have a big combat encounter. Yeah, I was trying to describe something on that note when I lost my train of thought there. Nope, it's not coming back. Sorry. One thing that's really nice is I do have a lot less to bitch about. My biggest problem by far was the fact that the horror here is a complete failure, but that the action was also a complete failure, and the action is no longer a complete failure. Because I can aim, because I now have proper control over my movement, all of that issue has more or less evaporated. That's not causing me any problems anymore. Which is great. That makes me really happy. Contrary to the beliefs of a lot of my friends, I do not actually want to hate video games. I don't get off on being critical of them. But like that, what was that? You know, I'll give them points. That kicks the shit out of a regular QuickTime event because I was actually aiming the gun. Ordinarily, a QuickTime event, right, I would just, like, when the enemies get too close to me and attack me, they should really just attack me, right? Like, making me do this button mashing thing to throw them off is like, whatever. I know I'm taking a certain amount of
Acting
damage.
Chief Engineer. I came down here to find Dr. Overton.
There's not going to be a significant difference from
In fact, I
instance
can't
to
find
instance,
anyone.
because I'm basically always
There's
shoving them
organic
off in
shit
the same
everywhere.
amount of time, same
I'm going
approximate
to check the mining
amount
deck.
of time.
It's about the only place
You
I
know,
have.
so why
Yeah.
bother? You know, don't give me that. Huh. Is there anything in this
Entering zero
room?
gravity.
Sorry, I'm just looking around for, ooh, frame rate dropped a bit there. I was just wondering if there's anything in the room that I could, loot. Which again, you know, you compare this to Amnesia, where, you know, to some extent, it's like, yeah, loot, but the loot consists of light sources, tinderboxes, and, where are the baddies? There you are. Uh-oh. Ow. There's an example, though, right? Like, that, in theory, should be a scary moment, because it's like, oh, I can't see the bad guys, right? But I know I'm supposed to kill them. Like, I know there's no way out of this room without killing them, right? So, it's something where even if the hypothetical horror concept of me being helpless were applicable, it's completely undercut by the core mechanics of this game being action game mechanics. I know I have to kill those monsters. I know there's no version of this where I'm sneaking away. Where, you know, and I think I've so maybe I don't need to bang on about it too much. I find myself using the exact same words. That's my cue to skip the lecture, but where are they? Oh, there he is. Oh.
That's the last one, Isaac. There's a switch in atmosphere control to restart the oxygen recycling.
There you are.
Once you're clean, you can get into some storage. Isaac, I've been reading these reports. The crew all began having mass hallucinations. And, well, I just saw my brother on a security monitor. And that's just not possible.
What's my alt fire? Oh, that. Yeah, that seems pretty useless. Unless I can lay the mines and then fire the gun at them in order to trigger them or something like that. Anyway, yeah, so maybe I'll let off, but that's the real thesis statement. Like, that's the take-home lesson, the sort of game design take-home lesson from Dead Space ultimately is you do not get the best of these two worlds, at least not this way. I don't know if it's even possible to have an action horror game work, but at a minimum, this is not how that can be done. Because the core problem are all of the design elements that have to do with the action stuff are at odds with all of the stuff that is doing the horror stuff. In other fusions, they're either sort of unrelated to each other. So you can have a game where, I don't know, I'm trying to think of another mashup example. It's not really coming. So, shit. You can have mashups where either the two mechanics are largely unrelated to each other. Oh, you know what? A pretty decent example. Any action shooter that has a hacking minigame, right? The hacking minigame is a little puzzle, but it has nothing to do with the shooting mechanics. Often it's like you enter a little separate, what they call a mini game, right? Where you're doing something completely different from what you were doing a moment ago.
Hydroponics lost
Because
Dr.
now
Crow's reporting.
is hacking
Something
time
huge
as
just
opposed to
landed in
shooting
a hole
time.
near food storage.
Right.
It wasn't a rogue asteroid. I know what that sounds like. But it was big and heavy. I'll report again when I know more.
Am I going down? Where am I going? Yeah, okay. Wait. Yeah, that's down. Okay. Creepy Court of Evil. Let's switch to my fuck you surprises gun. Ah, see, it's broken again. It's not doing the sound. Oh, look, what do you know? Oh, that's a big surprise, alright. I am shocked. Right, like, what is that? they didn't even try there. They could have had them pop through the wall sockets. They could have waited till I was halfway across the bridge to do it. No, door opens, musical stink plays as if it's, you know, like what are you doing? So I guess the trick here is, what would make Dead Space better, by far, would be picking one or the other. You know, Half-Life did a better job as a genre mashup just by having a separate level Ravenholm where things were scary, and where they were dedicated to that. They had one enemy type throughout that whole area. It was by far the most horrifying one. They were able to communicate all the stuff that this section is communicating. And we can talk more about monster design even later. But then in the rest of the game, when we're just in straightforward, it's action game time, all of that stuff is gone, right? They have a section of the game that is devoted to this concept, and then other sections of the game that are devoted to other concepts, other genres, other styles. Because one thing you have to give Half-Life, even if you're not going to give it anything else, is that it's got tons of variety. Right?
Isaac, where are you? Help me.
It's very clearly been established that you're experiencing hallucinations. That's something I think is actually very poor about this, the way this is being handled. Is if you're going to have hallucinations, if you're going to have them happen to the player, you want them to be horrifying. They should be actually, what are the words I'm looking for? Nope, I just can't find the words. Ambiguous. Jesus Christ, this disease is messing with me. I tell you guys, it's really screwing with my noodle. Ambiguity is the concept I'm trying to sputter out. I think we'll get rid of the small mic. You want the player to have some inkling that the hallucination in question could be true. Now, in this case, it's trivial anyway, because the thing that they're playing on... Excuse me. Shit. Hang on. The thing that they're playing on is the idea that it's Isaac's girlfriend, right? But I don't give a fuck about Isaac. He doesn't even talk in this one. Like, what? How am I supposed to even remotely feel for this guy when he's such a non-entity, right? So if we had built up to some extent the idea that his girlfriend was a thing, right? And if the way in which she contacted him made sense, right? Like they could hint at the fact that, hey, you know, the crew started hallucinating, and like the girl was just saying, I just saw my brother, but that can't possibly be, because my brother is dead. Right? Yeah, those are all kind of, that's staple stuff, but if we knew that there was a possibility that there were some other survivors, right? And there's not a great chance, but at least we've seen a handful of non-alienized humans. But, you know, whatever. It's easy enough to do that, right? You have one or two support character people that you run into be native to the ship. People are born on ships? No, that's not the right phrasing. But you have one or two instances of someone who's... Hang on, before I actually trip that, I want to find a bench. One or two instances of someone who is already on the ship, who's not part of this away team that Isaac is on. Right? Where was that bench? This is such a fucking nuisance because I don't know, I don't know the level design very well. This is the right place, right? It's one of these. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'd rather they give me a map. Like the breadcrumbs thing, alright, whatever, but the breadcrumbs thing takes all of the brain out of the equation. Like, give me a map instead. Do I have a map? Jesus Christ, it just occurred to me they might actually have a map. And I just haven't been using it. Boost the reload speed on that, sure, why not? If I want the damage upgrade, I gotta go... Like, I can go up through here and come back, but either way I burn one node, so maybe that's worth doing at some point. I should really just get on upgrading the cutter already, because that's what I know I'm going to do sooner or later anyhow, right? The cutter being the best thing I have available. Shots, not bad. Reload you. And, yeah, I should get an ammo capacity boost on this one. I increased its reload speed, but, if I'm actually strategizing, that's what I probably need first. Okay, now we make the save file, and then we press the button. And I wish I could remember what I was talking about before, because I think it was something worthwhile. I think I was ranting about something with merit.
Restoring nitrogen and oxygen levels. Food storage lockdown lifted.
Oh great, now we can get into food storage and fight the Leviathan. Because that's something we want to do, I guess, apparently. Now might be a good time to buy that contact beam, actually. This, I think, is exactly what the contact beam is for. Is for killing these big boss monster things that have giant pulsating herniated organs. What? Oh, that's my inventory. God. The disease, I tells ya. Oh, I don't have enough money. Never mind. I spent it all on nodes. Alright, I'm gonna kill this alien with a plasma cutter then. Why wouldn't I?
Hydroponics log, this is Dr. Cross. It's hard for me to believe what I'm seeing here. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to the mining deck. I hear that's where survivors are gathering. Jacob, I'll wait for you there.
Oh, sorry, I just remembered earlier, at least. I don't know if it was immediately what I had been talking about, but earlier, at least, I was talking about.
Injected into the filtration system.
Am I gonna make these tendrils die, or do I still have to cut my way through them? Oh, there we go.
Damn it. The poison wasn't strong enough. It's still alive. Get in there and kill it before it contaminates the entire ship.
I'm on the job.
Entering zero gravity.
Oh, cool. I'm not even supposed to use guns. I'm supposed to use these little floaters. Think. Ooh. Yep, gonna need you. Very much. Is there any way to avoid that, I wonder? I don't think I'm gonna make it, actually. I'm gonna need to try this again after I've had a visit to the shop. See what I mean about the glow? Like that was a room-wide lighting change, but
You did it. Hammond, do you read? Oxygen levels are returning to normal.
I think he's dead.
Damn it. He's gone again. No sign of his rig anywhere. It's up to us now. I've got a plan to get off this ship. I've located an SOS beacon on the mining deck. If you can get down there and activate it, we might be able to send a distress call. Oh god. I don't know how much longer that door will hold.
Don't worry about it. I'm sure the door will hold long enough for me to get to my next objective. I was talking about Half-Life earlier, and the example of Ravenholm as like a way to do a mashup. So the one I was saying, the one way to do the mashup is segregation. Basically, have one game type in one place and one game type in another place, in the way that a lot of action games have a hacking minigame, and in the way that Half-Life had a horror segment in the form of Ravenholm. I'm just going to try and collect all this loot before I go. What did I say? Oh yeah. In the example of Ravenholm, right? Like, you compare that to the rest of Half-Life. What did they do to make Ravenholm so much scarier? And so, what lessons can you take for a game like this? Prime example is the fact that they have almost no ammunition in Ravenholm at all. Almost none. You spend the entire time almost exclusively with crowbar and gravity gun, because that's all that's abundantly available. You get like buzzsaws and stuff. Neither of the, like, all of the other guns in Half-Life are point thing at dude and dude dies. Those ones require a little more care, because you have to get up in somebody's grill to use the crowbar, and firing with the gravity gun requires you to first collect a projectile that you're going to fire, which the extra step associated with that process is quite disconcerting in the bustle of a combat situation. Gonna need some of this. Headed back to the tram, I suppose. It'd be funny if they actually had is his name Hammond? I think Hammond. Yeah, if they had a Hammond zombie out here, that would be impressive. That'd be the first time that you had any kind of human connection to the victims. That's what's really missing, I think, in a lot of cases, right? In the headcrab zombies, you can hear them screaming, the muffled screaming underneath the headcrabs when you light them on fire. It sounds like words. So you have this sort of human connection to the person that's there. Even when they had that thing wailing on the wall, it's just kind of big, gross gurgling noises. So I'm not getting quite the same visceral connection. But other than that, like, you see examples of like bodies that are halfway through transformation, where the headcrab's sitting there and it's just sort of gestating. So you get this impression that, like, it takes a little bit of time for a headcrab zombie to mutate into its, fully functioning form. And that time is crucial. Like, with these guys, it's almost instantaneous, right? Like, those bat things flap down, they grab a corpse, and it's like an instant. They fire the drill in, and the thing peels all of its own skin off, and it's a monster now. It's like, whoa. If it's an instantaneous, like, I'm not going to suggest that's a painless process, but if it's sort of a split instant, you're a monster now, then that sense of the loss of humanity is it's not absent, but it's a lot harder to pick up on, So you have all of these components, right? The fact that I have a variety
This may be our last chance of getting out of here alive, Isaac. There's an asteroid loaded up in the mining bay waiting to be smelted. If you attach the SOS beacon to it, you can launch it away from the ship to make a clean broadcast. The beacon's on the maintenance subdeck. You can launch the asteroid from the control room.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. The control room is locked.
Always just an elaborate version of
it looks
go
like
here,
they keep an
click on
emergency
this.
access key on the processing subdeck. Couldn't be easy, could it? I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Neither do I. Actually, I can take a lot more of it now that I have the aiming thing, like I was saying. That makes this whole experience so much more pleasant. So what was I saying? In Half-Life, when you get to Ravenholm, they depower you. They take away all of your good guns. You're left with these crap guns, right? So that avoidance is often a better strategy, or even when I have to kill this zombie, there's no way around this situation. It's with the shittiest, most awkward guns, not with, for instance, what I have here, the just fuck this monster, blast it away from me gun. Like, that's not the kind of thing you're dealing with. You're dealing with either your crowbar, where you're having to get right up next to those things to fight them off, or you're dealing with your gravity gun, where you're having to every time you want to injure something. I don't even know if this thing works as an attack. I've never tried it. There's never been any reason to do that because I have these ridiculous weapons available. So, first of all, I'm way too powerful for this to be scary. So when I am in danger, what I'm experiencing more frequently, like I've been saying all along, is frustration rather than fear or panic. Which is typical of an action game when you're losing, right? You're just getting pissed off at either yourself or the situation, depending on whether you blame the situation or yourself for the failure. You could compare back to Ravenholm again. The monsters you're dealing with are very similar. They're a transformed enemy that used to be human. But the ones in the case of Ravenholm are a little bit creepier because every single one of them has the potential, like you can light them on fire and hear them scream through that muffle. Whereas none of these do anything even remotely interesting. Ravenholm heavily shadowed a lot of the time. If monsters are coming at you from around dark corners and stuff, that's there are visibility problems and things like that. This one, that's not even an option. The monsters have to be plainly visible because you need to be able to clearly see and target their limbs, because that's the combat mechanic of this game. Just 1,000 things that Half-Life, even though that's not all of Half-Life, that's not Half-Life's whole mechanics, that's a subset of them for that one level, but so much better in just the one section, Ravenholm, than this entire game, because it's not conflicted, because it's not trying to fulfill two conflicting paradigms for the design goals. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I was saying before, was the one way to do a mashup is to segment things off, like Half-Life did. But what you really want, and what this game really wants, is a true combination, just where both are present at all times. And I'm not convinced that that's possible with these two genres. You can combine things like action and RPG. This game is doing that. Because, right as you can see, I've got like the character upgrade stuff. That's not really what makes RPGs, but that's what people call that stuff. That's combinable. You can have inventories, you can have equipment and stuff. Like, I was even mentioning, I thought that the equipment thing was pissing me off. There were little niggling irritances associated with it, but even now, Suit Upgrade 3, I haven't managed to fill the suit up in a while, so most of those problems have gone away, so that part's fine. That part obviously is working out just dandy. Now, so I don't know. Most of the real problems with this game are coming from this horror element that it's not doing very well at all. So it sort of feels like an intrusion. That's the bad ingredient that's spoiling the whole situation. This should have just been a generic shooter, and it would have been better as a consequence. Anyway, I made it to the next train station, and I'm done nattering, so this is where I'll leave it for today. Hopefully the cough will have cleared up so you won't have to deal with that in the next episode. See you around.